talk to me, yeah. Alright guys, me not getting no more of the singing voice yet. I'm not ready for that. And I have to go over to a paid, I don't know, and I have to go pay for that, right? But anyways, guys, it's time to talk the ting with Kim. Yeah. All right, so 876-212-9824 or 876-462-0919. Ensuring to save those numbers, save it on the Funtastic Fridays, the Funtastic Crew, the giveaways number, the freeness number, whatever you want to call it. Friday, it's up to you. 5 to 8, all right? So yeah, guys, talk the ting with Kim. We asked y'all last week, or actually in the week, if it is that you guys can send us questions so we can know what we talk about. And I did ask around as well. And this was one that was a one person asked feed for real. Like, big man thing, one person. But when we mention it to people, they're like, yo, that one day, run with it. So, we're doing the do's and the don'ts of step parenting. All right. So, let's get right into it. And remember, you know, guys, we're not here to preach. We're actually here to have a conversation, right? So I want to hear y'all feedback. Feel free to drop your responses or whatever comments you have on the text line, the WhatsApp line, the Instagram live. Share your feedback. Come and like to learn from Uno too. Tell me if you not agree, if you disagree, if you know the feelings, anything you want to feel, just make me know, yeah? All right, so step parenting is a role that many persons probably swore at some point in their lives that they would never ever do. However, step parenting is an idea that we all need to make the effort to learn about or get comfortable with, as we will never know the direction that life will take us. I'm sure nobody, well, let me say most people, don't get into relationships with the intention of it not working out. Chances are that at some point you probably saw forever with your partner, so much so that you were even willing to share a child with them. However, for whatever reason, your relationship never worked out, and guess what? Life goes on. It doesn't mean you won't ever date again or be interested in anyone else again. It just means that you now have a child or children to consider when you are making decisions for your life, and you have to consider how it will affect them too. So, being a parent is hard, but being a step parent can be even harder. There is a high chance that it may be one of the most difficult things you will ever do. Being a step parent is a totally different experience than raising a child from birth. Essentially, becoming a step parent means that you're walking into an existing family unit. You are becoming a part of someone else's family that already has its own dynamics, its own rules, and its own quirks. So often, step parents receive the added responsibility of being another parent without much of the actual recognition of being a parent. But guess what? At the end of the day, just remember that as long as your spouse acknowledges your hard work and devotion to their kids, then it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks or says. So the world of step parenting may be a daunting one, but take comfort in the fact that step families are becoming increasingly common, and that Funtastic Fridays has created a list of do's and don'ts to help our listeners who may already be in this situation or may one day become a step parent. All right? So we're going to go right into the list. Number 1 on this list, and I had to put it at number 1 because I feel like it's the most important part of this whole conversation, all right? Number 1, this one applies to both men and women, but affects women more than men, in my opinion. So, ladies and gentlemen, we need to stop having kids in almost every relationship we enter. But I think we pause at the wrong place. Let me say it again.
I think let's say stop having kids.
Stop having kids. Let me take a breath. I might hold on. That's sort off. So, ladies and gentlemen, we need to stop having kids in almost every relationship we enter. No, I'm not saying that stuff don't happen and unplanned pregnancies aren't possible. I'm not say that. But whether you like it or not, having multiple baby fathers or baby mothers puts you in a negative light and complicates your life when it comes to the dating world and society at large. And I agree, disagree, what you say?
Or personally.
Or personally.
I mean, it's more troublesome. You have more
you have more
persons to deal with.
responsibilities, more dynamics. You have to consider the person your feelings and the person that, and everybody, it have more work for deal with overall.
Definitely.
And it's like, guys, I'm gonna be very, very honest. Whether I not agree with me, disagree, on the feelings. I see more and more when I did this research why the Bible did say no sex until marriage. We're not gonna say it don't mean that divorces won't happen, but I feel that if we had followed that rule, them dynamics here that we have to now consider in the dating world wouldn't have really existed as much.
Yeah.
Right? So now you have a whole heap of things you have to consider, that this person is always there, all kind of things. I'm not give it too much because we have some of these topics to discuss as well coming up. But I can understand the Bible a bit more. So whether it is a biblical or religious or not, to me it add up. It makes sense when we say all the things that you have to consider when people know just have children outside of marriage, you know? All right. So, and once again, that don't mean say marriages won't, people won't divorce. It's not foolproof, but it lessens. Yeah. How frequent it is now, it would have lessened it if we had followed that rule. All right? That's what I think, my opinion. Let me know if you agree, disagree, on the feelings, whatever it is. All right. So, yeah. As I said, we need to stop having kids in almost every relationship we enter. Right? And as I said, things can happen, guys. But you need to think about the chain reaction of it, the bigger picture of it. And I know we're in 2022 now. We have whole heap of birth control options. It's more than just condoms. It's more than just abstinence. There's pills. There's this. There's that. There's a whole heap of things that y'all can do. So if it is that you're not sure about the future with this person, or you don't know if it's going to work out or whatever, it's best to keep things on a certain level until you're sure.
Yeah.
And actually, y'all shouldn't be having sex with people that chances are, if a baby comes out of it, you can't co-parent.
There you go.
That is the next big part. No people have one night stand, all these things, and you end up pregnant or you end up with a baby on the way for the men. And we don't know if they don't know the person's name. Right? So we need to be more responsible when they're choosing sexual partners. We need to think about the bigger picture, because y'all are now creating a world of havoc with a lot of kids out there who do understand everything that's confusing to them.
Yeah.
And we need to think about the bigger picture. It's not all about ourselves and for self-pleasure.
Yeah.
All right? So that is my 2 cents. Man, if you agree, disagree, let me know. As I said on the live, if you're on the live, you can communicate there, or you can send your responses via text or WhatsApp. All right? So number 2, don't try to be step parent of the year. So many step parents end up trying too hard and too soon in efforts to impress their partner. This may result in you just doing too much and or not allowing time for the child or the children to adjust to these major life changes, because there are some big changes. You need to be genuine about your intentions, be patient, and let the relationship progress on its own. Miria say, yeah, it makes sense. Carty say, yes, it makes sense. And Bad Girl Chevy load up say, we are sip Tropicana. All right.
I guess that makes sense too.
All right, that makes sense too. But yeah, guys, don't try to be step parent of the year. Because no fun, especially if the relationship is new, you want to impress. Right? So actually, I know somebody that she was dating this guy, and may I tell you, the guy made all the efforts. Every time I invite her out, make sure you carry out so and so, Make sure this, when they come, I carry something for the picnic, this or that.
Yeah.
Long story short, the relationship never worked out, but he had developed such a bond with this little girl because that was the avenue he was using to impress the mother. But then guess what? Him no around no more, and I'm sure the little girl would have had questions along the way. Where him gone? Is it him doing business about me no more? You need to understand the dynamic or the effects that you're probably having on kids. So don't try to be step parent of the year. If you're interested in the mother or the father, make an effort with the mother and father first, because you don't even know if it's going to work.
Yeah.
And then if it look like, something will go somewhere, and this look like it makes sense, then you start have conversations about the bigger picture, because you have to factor in that the person you're interested in has a child, and you can't want the parent and don't want everything that comes with them, the good, the bad, the in-between. Right? So the children are a part of the package. But not for no one. Nobody waste nobody's time, and don't confuse these kids more than they're probably already confused with all that's happening in the world. All right?
Yeah.
So don't try to be step parent of the year. Don't go overboard all of a sudden you start watch cartoon, and you know watch cartoon from your 11. Right? That's because you want to bond. and show that you're a stepfather material or stepmother material, the need for ensure that. And don't overdo it. That's really it. Don't overdo it.
Yeah.
So, as it said, don't try to be step-parent of the year. And Ashara said, true. All right, so number 3. Many step-parents, whether intentionally or unintentionally, try to become replacement parents. And this is probably one of the worst things you can do, especially if the child's parent or other parent is still in their lives. So now found out there, I treat the people them like them don't have parents already. You come take over a role. You might be the girlfriend.
Call me daddy, call me daddy, call me mommy.
Call me daddy, call me mommy. What you want to get some mommy, but I have everything here. You're here trying to replace a parent, and that's the worst way you could have go about this step parenting thing.
Force up yourself.
Enough of yourself. Take over a role. So firstly, the child are gonna feel awkward, and then the other parent not gonna like you because you try to take my space or you try to take my picnic from me. And then I'm gonna say, boy, 9 months me go through this, or the fathers know that the ones that been playing them role, and so no still make the effort, and this man just come in and get called daddy. You understand? Them feel disrespected. So you can't necessarily come and want to be a replacement parent, guys. And not try to take nobody picnic from them. Right? So, for example, stepmothers might feel like they're expected to take on the main caring role, or stepfathers might feel like they should take charge of rules and boundaries. You are, of course, now a part of the support system, right? You're not the new parent. You're not the replacement parent. You are now a part of the support system.
Yeah. So if you want to try auntie and uncle. Yeah?
Exactly. That wants the best for the child. So you're actually a good addition. You're one more person that wants the best for this child or the children. But you are not there to take over anyone's role unless the dynamic of your relationship requires that. So for example, maybe one partner is MIA, them not playing them role, or them have failed to play their role. They're there, but them not really do what them need for do.
Or the passed away.
Or the deceased, or incarcerated. Because you have instances like that, or one parent live out of the country,
different one,
and probably you and your partner live together, and the child come to live with you, whatever, right? So if it requires that, then it is very important that the role you will play is mutually agreed upon by both partners in the relationship, and in several instances as well, the co-parent need for co-sign. Right? Yep. Of course, sign. So according to research, the reality is that you will always be a second-class citizen. So step-parents, research will tell me this.
That's
so you have to accept. So you can't go around it. Is it maybe try to be very honest to show him talk the thing, if you talk the things then. Right? So as Carty said, that's not right. You can contribute but not take over. And as Miria said, talk truth, they might confuse the poor pitney them. Yeah? And I Shiva, big up yourself, thank you for joining. But yeah, guys, chances are, as a step parent, you will always be a second-class citizen in the family. Right? As stepchildren are generally very loyal to their biological parents. I want them not play them role. I just daddy that and I just mommy that. Yeah. It is not intentional, but step-parents are often left out of the family narrative or major family decisions, or their role may often be minimized. So sometimes very selective, You play a huge part today, and then tomorrow something else, and you're pitney, or you're involved. Whether people intentionally say it or not, sometimes it's said.
Yeah, that's what happens for true.
It happens. I know, I've seen it firsthand. I've actually had an experience as a step-parent, sort of. So I can talk my business too, right? That was the last relationship. I'm going to tell you, there's times when, your opinion is requested and valued and whatever. And then there's other times like boy, you're by the way. You hear about it after the fact, or you don't really even know nothing. You understand? Exactly. So we need to understand that as a step parent, chances are you'll never be number one to this child. And that actually should not be your aim because you're not the parent. Right? But accept that you are part of the support system, which is still a great role. It's still a plus. These people have more support, or these children have more support, and that is something to work towards. All right? So number 4. And this leads back to number 1 and number 2. Don't let just anyone into the lives of your children. So if you're with someone just for fun or for a fling, or you're uncertain of what you want from the relationship, then it is not recommended that this person be introduced to your child. Formal introduction should be made to your child if and only if you see a solid future with the person here. This doesn't mean that you will know for sure which relationships will work and which won't, but this aids in eliminating the confusion your child may experience and prevents the possibility of your new partner and child developing meaningful bonds that may eventually be taken away from them. Right? So it can be, and ladies, a lot of women guilty of this. Y'all be introducing them to every Tom, I don't want to say the second name, and Harry, right? Every Tom and Harry. And then y'all do it because you're trying to seek some sort of support, some sort of financial support, some sort of help or whatever. So you invite everybody at Uncle this. Mm-hmm. Oh, this is Uncle Tom. Next week, this is Uncle Jack. Tell him say you want this. Oh, so she needs school fee. Our school fee need for pay. Whatever it is, y'all need to be very open about what your intentions are. If you don't see a future with the person, don't bother carry the picnic into the mix. That's just your business. Keep your business separate and apart from the child. But if it is that you see a solid future and I say, that person makes sense, a woman that makes sense, or that man that makes sense, I'm really think I want to go the distance to the person here, then at some point you have to introduce the child because the child is an extension of you. Right? So don't let just anybody into your life. Not everybody work that experience. Not everybody get that privilege of meeting your children. All right, so number 5. I realize I've listed quite a few don'ts so far. So I believe it's time that I list a do. If possible, it is best that your partner is introduced at some point to the co-parent of the child. Right? Yes, people must say it. At some point, your partner, it is best that they are introduced at some point to the co-parent of the child, but only if you are absolutely serious about your relationship. And if so, probably sooner rather than later. Right? So yes, there is a very high possibility that it will be an uncomfortable scenario for everyone involved, especially the step-parent to be. But it is natural for the co-parent to be concerned about who is in their child's life and spends time around their kids. Though it is preferred that everyone involved comes to an understanding and learn to coexist for the benefit of the child, you may also have to get comfortable or make peace with the fact that you and the co-parent may never, ever get along.
Wow.
So the introduction is necessary. Whether you want to do it or not, if it is that you are signing up to be a step-parent, whether it's a stepfather or a stepmother, the parent has every reason in the world, every right in the world to want to know who you're carrying around, my child. Because we've heard so many scenarios of step-parents troubling the pit of them. Yeah. Or ill-treating them because there was a report that they would one boy beat the stepchild until he ended up in a hospital because he wouldn't eat him food. Yeah. Them something there, right? So they have every right to ask questions and want to know who is this person, which is why it leads back to, just introduce just anybody. Right? Have to be somebody where you say, all right, this person is worth it. I see this going somewhere. All right, so we're going to have to go over that hurdle here now. So make sure when you're going over that hurdle, it's worth it for you. Yeah. Right? Because that's going to be a tough conversation. Hence, I keep saying, it's gonna be an awkward if it's serious, it's going to be a very awkward one. Because a lot of persons, because based on what I was reading as well, enough of them say me never really want about the person,
That's right.
Never want about my ex, but they feel some type of way, so they move on. Yeah. And them look happy, and this look serious. Them don't like it, so they're going to create problems, right? So I'm not going to tell anybody it's going to be a bed of roses, but it's the best thing to do if you're trying to deal with things maturely. And everybody can want adults when things fun and nice. Enough have the hard conversations as well. Right. And this is one of them, right? And we don't know in a society now where chances are most of us at some point may become a step-parent, whether it is that you intentionally, seek to become one or it just happened. Can be a divorce, can be a lost your partner, so now you want a different partner or you need a different partner or whatever the reasons are. There's a chance, right? So, as I said, it may be uncomfortable, especially for the step-parent to be, but at some point when say, this is of value and it really makes sense, you have to introduce this new step parent to be to the co-parent.
Yeah.
All right, and we are good. Oh, we're not at the break yet. We're almost there. So let's go to number 6. Number 6, I'm going to remind you about the first 5 points. Come on, I want to lose them. I want to know, connect everything on my drop. And I hope we all reasoning it out. And as I say, if it don't make sense, let me know. If you not agree, let me know. If you have some feedback or some perspective that I probably didn't think of, let me know as well.
All right.
So, number 1. We need to stop having kids in almost every relationship we enter. Number 2, don't try to be step parent of the year. Don't overdo it. Take time. Be patient. It will grow naturally. Don't try to just be impressing and buying the picnic something every week and doing the most because you're trying to impress the mother or the father. All right. Number 3, many step parents, whether intentionally or unintentionally, try to become replacement parents, and that's the worst thing you can do. You cannot try to take the place of their father or their mother. Right. To understand your position, we're not saying that you're not valid. You are very valid. You're very important to the support system, but don't try to take nobody's spot.
Yeah.
It'll cause conflict. Number 4, don't let just anyone into the lives of your children. And number 5, if possible, it is best that your partner is introduced at some point to the co-parent of the child, because every parent have a right to know who is spending time with their children.
Yeah.
So number 6, another do is that a conversation needs to be had within the relationship, so not with the co-parent, within the existing relationship between you and your partner, about the expectations of the step parent in the child's life or the children's life. So if you and the person together and so working on this and try the relationship, and it can't just wing it.
Right.
A conversation needs to be had.
Exactly. The law, what is expected, what is normal.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, persons might have different ideas as what is expected, so it's good to talk about it.
So it's best to put it out there and clarify everything right there and then. And bear in mind, even if you have the conversation, it won't be perfect, but at least you'll understand what is required of you, what you can do, what you can't do, what could cause problems, right? So it is very important to know that a parent's boundaries and a step-parent's boundaries are 2 entirely different things. So there's things that parents can do and probably get away with that the step-parents can't even conceive to do, or to cause problems, right? So it's 2 different level of boundaries. It's pretty much impossible to know that you've overstepped a boundary until you've already done it.
Yep, until you cross the line.
And the line is constantly moving. So you can overstep a boundary with the kids, you can overstep a boundary with the co-parent, and you can even overstep the boundary with your spouse. So it's like there's so many things working against you. You need to take time and understand what exactly you're walking into. Because the pitney might offended, the co-parent might offend, and that can be hell for you. Or even your spouse might be offended when you do something. And guess what? Half the time you don't know, say you do something wrong till after you do it. Yeah. Right? So that's why the conversation is necessary. So the conversation needs to include questions like, what role do you want me to play with your child? What should I do? What shouldn't I do? How will we give each other feedback without taking it too personal, etc. You can also think and discuss about what level of involvement you want and what feels comfortable to you. So it's not all about what your partner needs from you. You have to think as well, can I do this? Am I up to this? Am I equipped for this?
Yeah.
You know? So you have to reason and say, boy, is this too much for me? Is this too out of my... Yeah, is it outside of my comfort zone? You have to think about that and have a discussion before anybody start even bring the child into the picture, because you really have to think about the effects that you have on the children.
Yeah.
All right? So we are still in Talk the Ting with Kim, but we're going to go to a break. It's our 7:30 break, and when we come back, we wrap up the next 4 points. Uni can give me further feedback, and then sadly at 8, we part ways.